Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to review week 3 of the 2025-26 Supercoach NBA season. So, an okay week, scoring a 971, which I didn't think was too flash, top 22% for the round, but did see us move up in the green arrow overall. So, inside the top 5K, just squeezing in. Which is top 15% of the league. So I guess probably coming from a fair way back, top 22% for the round isn't the worst. Moving in the right direction, which is nice. If we have a look at the team this week, so VJ Edgecombe, 48 points. Decent enough result from a rookie, making some good cash. Jackson, I think he played one game and ended up getting injured, so that was a bit of a bum pick. Only 7 for him this week. Harper also out injured, so struggling with a few of our cheapies. We also had Austin Reeves not play, which wasn't too bad because we had Larson get 61, which was handy. But we had Nipple on the bench, so he scored 52, which came in as the emergency for shooting guard, which worked out pretty well. In centre, Wemby only a 77 this week. I'm not sure if there was injuries or what happened there. Let's have a look at the stats real quick. So he played all 3 games that he was scheduled to. Just an 18 off the back of a 14 was a bit flat. But then 28, 31, slowly ramping it back up in those 2 games. So obviously off to a cracking start and then has just had a little dip. I know a few people are trading. But I think because of that, it might be worthwhile holding. He's got another 3-gamer this week from memory. Actually, it might be a 4-game week this week if we quickly look at the chart. Yes, the Spurs are on a 4-gamer this week, so I think he is an absolute hold. Jimmy Butler only scoring 55. Not sure what's happened here either. But yeah, played 3 games, but had a 3 in amongst them. Did have an 18, which is expected, but then bounced back with a 34. So maybe got injured, missed a game, and then came back is what I'm guessing has happened here. Bazelis with a 42-point return was okay. I think he was only on a 3-gamer this week. The Bulls, yeah, were only on 3 games, so that's fine. Ace Bailey with 26, so making a little bit of cash back from what he lost last week. Giannis as our VC with a 148 was pretty awesome in 3 games. Cooper Flag 72, fantastic result from a cheapie. Jalen Williams making a little bit more cash with the 29, and then Nikola Jokic as our captain this week 208. You love to see it from the big man. In terms of matchups this week, just gone. So no wins for myself. This is, I think, sort of why I thought 971 was pretty disappointing. Had a 1084 from Banana Bickles, Lockie's team this week. So he had Rollins who scored a 69. Probably one I only picked up on after my video last week, watching the Insight Fantasy Boys. They probably know their stuff more than me, so definitely check them out after this one if you haven't already done so. Jalen Brown with 109, so another one we've missed out on there. Coward with an 82, so another cheapie that we've probably missed out on a bit. And Minot, don't know much about him, 56, but you know what was 4.8 mil, pretty good value there. But across the league, got it. Interestingly, 3 teams all on 11, 13. What are the odds of that? I wonder if we have a quick look if we can find similarities there. So it looks like they all had, he had Maxi, so no harm, no foul. Yeah, so all different teams that just happen to float around the same amount of points, which is unreal. But looks like the top score was actually an 11.48. So well done to LA Knight, Mark's team. Also, shout out to the Diddlers, another 11-13. That was a bit stiff to get beat this week. But for Mark, he had Giannis, He had Jalen Brown, Rollins, Banchero with 75 solid. SGA with a 145 was fantastic. Coward, Minot, Edgecombe had Flack on the bench too, so maybe left a few points on the table there, Mark, but great scoring this week nonetheless. In the second league, so 1041 for, hang on, what's happened there? I've gone to all the matchups. That was silly. James's team, Tatum's rising, so 1041, and he didn't captain Jokic, so must have had some good scores elsewhere. Had SGA, so the three big triples helping out a lot there. But had Rollins, Shepard with a 62 is pretty handy as your auto emergency. Had Coward as well, so great stuff there. But top score this week, another 11-13. That's crazy. And that's actually the top score in this league. So well done to Shoab with 11-13. So he had Wemby, Jokic, Giannis, and SGA. So the big four. Um, Edgecombe, Coward, Minot. So yeah, definitely a few we've missed out on this week. Might have to have a look at do we get them in this week potentially. Other players went well this week. If it'll load. So the top three, big three. Actually, that's not on weak points. That's total points. So yeah, so the big three: Jokic, Giannis, SGA, top three. Tyrese Maxey we saw, but Jalen Duren, the Detroit center, 144. That's pretty handy. Super Pod at 0.4%. Hartenstein, the OKC center, a 131. So also a super pod. Obviously, if you've got Jokic, Wemby, and Kalbrenner, the cheapie, your three sort of options for out and out centers are cooked pretty quickly. So well done to those guys on the differentials. Cade Cunningham with a 124, so he started a little bit slow, but I think that's the type of scoring people were hoping to get out of him. So well done if you're on him. Sengun, another center power forward, which is handy, 118. Alex Sarr, so 117 this week, has made a couple of mil. I know I had him in, I think, my very initial team and then just thought it's probably not worth it, but happy to be proven wrong at the moment. Julius Randle, so you can see lots of centers slash power forwards. That's why we were targeting them early doors. Donovan Mitchell with a 109. So probably one of the highest scoring shooting guards, point guards going around. So well done if you started with him. Jalen Brown, we saw on a heap of teams. Russell Westbrook winding back the clock with a 106. Well done to the 11 players on Russ. Eamon Thompson's been a pretty popular shout, 102 this week. Haven't seen any real cheapies. AJ Mitchell with a 97. Pretty handy result for 6% of the league. Derek White bouncing back with a 95 this week, so well done if you held him. Giddy with an 89 in the 3-game week, pretty decent. Do we look at targeting him moving forward? I think Chicago doesn't have the best this week. They've got 3 this week, so yeah, could do. Trey Murphy, 87. So here's an interesting one with 4 games coming up for the next few weeks. But I guess averaging 20, is it worth it? Couple more centers. So we might just switch to break evens. See the cheapie. So AJ Mitchell, number 1, with his 97 in the average. So negative 10 at just under 8 mil. Isaac Okoro from the Bulls with 58 this week. So a negative 8 break even. Will Richard from Golden State. So they've had a really good opening fixture. And I think Steph Curry's out, so maybe he is the replacement. I might have to try and find some depth charts. Here we go. Yeah, so Golden State. So they've got Steph Curry listed, but I think if we go to their team page, I saw he was out. I did have an injury list here somewhere as well, but yeah, he's out. So they got Richard 4th on the depth chart. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. That's an interesting one. Doesn't sort of appear to be anywhere else on the list either. Jordan Walsh, really cheap option at Boston, 45 this week, only averaging 8 though, so don't know if we can rely on that score too often. Watford, an 82 this week from Philly. So might have had some games when Embiid was rested, which would inflate that. So could be an option. Jackson still got a nice break even due to not getting any games. Reed Shepherd. So if you started with him, he's already made 1.3 mil and gonna make some more with a -3. Derek Queen. So the Pelicans do have the best upcoming fixture. So scored 62 this week, -3 break even. Looks like there's a bit of cash on offer. Jay Huff was chatted about preseason. He's got a break even of 0. Um, Drummond, so another one who might have benefited from Embiid being out. Isaiah Jackson with a 73 this week, so another player we jumped off who went all right. Um, yeah, Nipple still got nice break even, but we're already in the sort of double digits positive, so you sort of are hoping on results there to make some more cash in a hurry. So for my team this week, I think Jackson out injured has to go. I should have probably checked the paces while I was on all the teams before. I'll just go this way. Paces, depth. Yeah, so Jackson's still listed as out. That's good enough for me. So he can go. Reeves injured as well, so he can go. That's nice and easy. Um, and then the third trade, do we give Butler another chance? What's Golden State's got a 4 gamer this week, so we'll give him one more crack. Bazelis has a 3 gamer this week, but then into a 4 game next week, so probably worth a hold. Um, Not really looking at trading cheapies. Like I said, a few people trading Wemby, but I suggest holding just because the 4 gamer this week. Miami for Larson. So they got a 3, but they do go into a 4. So not an emergent trade, particularly at that price. Um, so at the moment, we haven't got too much to work with. Edgecombe. So Philly are only on a 2 gamer this week. So I think if you've got Maxi, for example, you've got to trade him out. Obviously, it's 17 mil. You can do a fair bit with that. Um, what about Detroit? What's their fixture like this week? So Detroit only have a 3 gamer. Um, so yeah, so if we have a look, you got the Hawks have a 4 game this week and a 4 game next week, which is nice. So if you have a look at the Hawks, the Hornets have a good run. The Cavs, so Donovan Mitchell is definitely on the watch list. Mavs continue to have a great run, but not too sure other than Flag, who they've got there. Is Davis still injured? Might have to have a look actually. Dallas depth. Yeah, so Davis still listed as out. So D'Angelo Russell, so we've already cut him. We're not giving him another crack. Happy to be proven wrong as always. um, so Donovan Mitchell, let's lock him in. That gives us 6.9. So I don't think that's quite enough for AJ Mitchell, isn't it? And I think Oklahoma have 4 this week as well. No, they only have 3. That's fine. We can work with that. Um, and so we need to find 800k. So the player I'm thinking of bringing in is Queen. It's just a question of who makes way, because he's a center um, power forward. We can only bring him in up here because we don't have enough trades to flick anyone back into the guards. So obviously Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, you're having a laugh. I think Jimmy Butler, we give him a chance. So we'll keep the keepers. And so at his price point, +8, so 6 mil. So obviously these guys are too cheap. So Cooper Flag, we're keeping Dallas on a 4-gamer. Cork Brenner is an interesting one. So Charlotte have a 4-gamer this week and next week. So plenty of opportunities for points. But is he actually going to see the court given that Wemby and Jokic are locked in there? So I guess that leaves Bezelis. So Chicago have a 3-gamer this week into a 4-gamer, but the Pelicans do have 4-4-4. So I think the trade is Bezelis out into. Oh, I've got to flip Flag back, so then I can bring Queen in. Make those trades. And so then, so Mitchell swaps with Edgecombe because Edgecombe's only got 2 games this week. Nipple definitely plays with 4 games, so we've got the 2 Mitchells at point guard, Larson, Nipple at shooting guard, Wemby, Jimmy Butler, Flag, Giannis, Queen, who will play this week with 4 games, and Jerkic. So I think that's pretty straightforward. I think it's gone there, but if I do go quickly to the most popular trade-ins, trade-outs, I've hit 2 or 3 of the top 4 with those guys. So Denny Abdia, probably one I didn't look at too much. 13.9 mil. Break even 51's handy. I'm assuming they've got a 4-gamer if people are targeting this week. So they do have a couple of 4-gamers. So I could potentially use a boost to go Butler to Abdia. That pretty much have the same position. But yeah, I think that's much of a muchness. I might hang on to a boost. I've already used 2. Um, and yeah, we'll roll the dice, see how it goes. So then just captaincy this week. So if we have a look at the schedule, so the Bucks have 4, Denver only have 3, and the Spurs have 4. So sort of makes me lean towards Giannis and Wemby. And based on how they're scoring this week, I think Giannis, you've got to go captain. Wemby vice captain. Obviously, Jokic is perfectly fine. Averaging 46, so he'll score about 140 this week on 3 games. So yeah, so you can look at but any of those 3. I think obviously SGA is another one I should have mentioned. For those that own him, Oklahoma only on a 3-gamer this week, so maybe not. Maybe a few people trading back in Luka. The Lakers have a 4-gamer this week. Just be mindful that they do have a 2-game next week. So Luka's back out after this week. But that's my team anyway, going into week 4. Kicks off tomorrow morning as is standard with the NBA format. So yeah, we'll wrap the video up there. Obviously, any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the NBA content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.